Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Smishek's Custom Baits, Rick Smishek here. Today we're going to be making a color that I call black crappie. Around here we have a lot of the smaller lakes and ponds that in the metro area that we can fish in have black crappie. There's no white crappie for whatever reason. But if you wanted to make white crappie, you could use the same recipe and just don't add as much of the black glitter that we're going to be doing. But I don't have any black crappie in my tackle box right now, and it's something that last time I went fishing I kind of wished I had. You know, I've been throwing everything. I hadn't thrown the kitchen sink yet, and I think I think black crappie was the kitchen sink, but I didn't have. So I'm going to make a little bit. No, really, I can talk. I'm only going to be making them as food baits today. I'm going to use the angling AI mold, and then also the one from Lurecraft, the Kitech knockoff, and then this other one. It's the from angling AI. It's the bloodline mold that I have. We just won't be using bloodlines or eyes in them today. Maybe we'll do. You know what? Maybe we'll do that another time. Do a black crappie pattern in this mold, and use the bloodline and put some eyes in it. We'll see what we can come up with. Next week I'm going to make the first video for the Mad Scientist playlist, so you can look forward to that and see what I'm doing as a mad scientist, just experimenting. That's one of the things I want to do too on the channel. I don't just want to show you guys how to make stuff that we can already go buy, but who knows? Who knows whether the Mad Scientist stuff that I have in mind will turn out or not, but next week we'll find out. Alright? Oops, crap, I meant to do that. No, really. Alright, well the plastic should be just about ready. It's already cooked. I was just waiting for air bubbles to rise out of it. So let me go ahead and get the camera moved over and see the microwave's barking at us. And make sure the plastic is all ready, the air bubbles are out and whatnot. And then we'll get started with actually making the stuff. Okay. Plastic salt's ready to go. Give this color a quick shake again. Alright. Now, since it's crappie, the background color is white. So we're just going to squirt in some white there. We'll mix this in. Oh, okay, we missed a little bit there on the side. Alright. It's just good mixed. And that's, you can tell it's a pretty opaque color there. You can't see through it hardly at all, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, now the next thing we want to do here is, I don't want this to be a pure white color, because most fish really aren't. The white on them isn't pure. It's a slightly off-white color. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use some of this Brilliant Gold Pearl powder, and I'm just going to use the smallest amount of that. Just a tiny little bit, just to make that not a pure white, not such a bright white color. Okay. And then after we get this mixed in, let's make sure we have enough. So I don't want it to get yellow for sure. But I didn't quite do what I was hoping for. So let's add just another little smidge like that. Okay. And actually this I don't know if you see it there, it calls it a drop. But let's add just a little tiny bit more. Like this. And let's stop there, because we can never take it back out, right? Oh, there we go. There we go. It's there. It's turning just slightly. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's turning slightly off white. There's just this teeniest little bit of the yellow or the gold color in there that makes it. There we go. Yeah, it's not, the white isn't quite as bright as it was before. And that's exactly what I'm looking for, is to just make it not real bright. Yeah, there we go. I think that's perfect. So basically what it is, I use 2 smidges, 2 little tiny drops of that powder. Okay. And there we go. All right. So now let me put whatever's left. Okay. Wipe off my spoon. My measuring spoon here. Clean it up. All right. Now, that way when I dip it into something else, I don't contaminate it. Okay. Now let's use some black glitter, and we're going to be using the large black glitter again. All right. And we're going to be using a lot of this for a black crappie pattern, color pattern here. Let's put in 2 huge heaping teaspoons there. And we'll see if there's... And for a white crappie, you could do the same thing, except just don't use as much of your black glitter. Because they don't have nearly as much... Oh, this looks pretty darn good for a black crappie. See all that black glitter in there? Make sure you get that mixed up real well. There's no... Sometimes when you put a ton of it in there like that, sometimes it'll clump up a little bit, and that's why I'm stirring it a little more. But I'm not seeing any clumps of glitter, but there's tons of it in there. All right, let me check. Let's check the temperature on this real quick. We might be able to go ahead and shoot it. Now we're down below 300. So let me go ahead and heat this back up and move the camera so you can see the shot, and then we'll make some baits. Right. So the plastisol is all up to temperature. We're ready to go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead and do this. I went ahead and I stirred the plastisol just before I turned the camera back on. So we should be good as far as the glitter not being all down at the bottom, mixed in real well. That's another thing you need to watch out for too, is that after you've reheated your plastisol, whatever, just before you do the shot, especially if you have salt in your plastisol, stir it real good before you suck it up into the injector. That way all the glitter, all the salt gets mixed in. It's just the science that this stuff will sink. So you just have to keep it stirred in so that all your baits are consistent. All right, one more. Here we go. All right, there we go. All the cavities are full. Those are all right. And it looks like that the 6-ounce injector was just enough to shoot both these molds. I haven't done that before with these 2 molds, but I have to say that this plastisol is looking pretty good. And in just a couple of minutes or a minute or so, we'll go ahead and open up the molds and see what we have. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our first mold, the one from Angling AI. See how everything turned out. And of course, all the baits stuck on the other side. And it doesn't seem to matter which side they pick up first. It always seems to be the other side that they stick on. Let's go pull those hook slot plates out. All right, let's take a look at these things. Okay. There's plenty of black glitter in these. All right. I think they'll. And looks like all the tails. Yep, all the tails fill out perfectly. That's one thing about this mold, is that generally speaking, the tails. You know what? I shouldn't even say generally speaking. I don't think I've ever had a tail from this mold that didn't fill out properly, unless I shorted the cavity because I didn't have enough. Because I didn't have enough plastisol left in the injector. But that's not the fault of the mold there. That's me. Okay, let's go ahead and move this over. Another thing I just want to mention about when you're working with white plastisol is that you want to make sure you keep your bench cleared off, wiped down, because anything will contaminate it. Any contaminants that are on the table will show up in the plastisol. Trust me, I know this from experience. Okay, now look, these guys, all of these guys, the tails filled out really nicely. Let's go ahead and pull them out. Just pull them out, pop off the screws, take a little bit closer look. Okay, these are pretty nice little swim baits here. They work pretty well in the water. I mean, they're not exactly like a Kitech, but they're pretty darn close. And they fish just about as well, I think. They're probably as well. See, here's one of those vent tabs. These pop right off. But there you go. You can tell it's not a bright white, but yet at the same time, I think it's a pretty close white for the body of a crappie, or crappie, or speck, or any one of 100 other names that these fish have. But that's it. I'll put these in my tackle box. I have just a few of them, and as I use them, I'll make more. All right, so that's our video for today. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and I hope it gives you an idea for making your own crappie imitations for baits. The bass will eat those, especially the smaller ones. But one of the places I fish at, there's only really three types of forage fish. One is stocked rainbow trout, and then perch, yellow perch, and crappie. The only other two types of fish in the lake are smallmouth and largemouth bass. So there's no like little minnows. There's no shad. There's none of that. So when I fish there, I need to try to imitate the forage. So which today we did. So, but if you have any questions, leave them down below. Do my best to answer them. And this is a section of the video where I'll do that. I'll answer questions. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that in two different ways. One, you can do it by joining Patreon, and I'll have the link for my Patreon channel. Every week I'll be making a video specifically for patrons on Patreon that won't be shown here. And I suppose if the Patreon idea bombs, I suppose eventually I'll just start putting those videos over here too. But the other thing you can do is you can share the channel. You share the videos with everybody. Share them on your Facebook page. Share them on Instagram. Share them wherever. That supports us too. That helps us get more subscribers. It helps us move towards that that mark where we can monetize the channel on YouTube, which it's taking a little while, but we're slowly making progress towards getting there. So, but with all that said, if you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the little bells so that you get notifications when we post new videos. And until next time, tight lines and calm waters.